Is this the end of leak culture? What you're currently looking at right now on the screen is a police station in Japan putting up pretty much their most wanted list for people that leak Weekly Shonen Jump magazines early. And it's wild, honestly. There is a lot that could be said about what's going on here, but pretty much what happened, to kind of give a very brief summary before I get into the meat of this story, is that a few foreigners were arrested in Japan earlier today, and they're pretty much going to probably go to jail or prison for a very long time. The reason for it is because they broke copyright law, and because they broke copyright law in Japan, they are going to be serving time. And what they've been doing basically is grabbing the magazines of Weekly Shonen Jump early, scanning them to post them online, and aka when we get like early chapters, aka like One Piece, Jujutsu Kaisen, My Hero Academia, you get the point. It's thanks to these certain groups that scan the magazine early, post them online, and then, we get to read the chapters early, many days or like 4 to 5 days earlier before they officially come out on, let's say, Viz Media or Manga Plus. And so Japan is cracking down on the origins, so to speak. They're cracking down on the people that are starting the magazine to leave, the actual company to be able to be scanned to be put online. So, like I said, a few foreigners were arrested earlier today for this, and there is a lot of people talking about this overall, the effect of, what's happening here from the company's perspective of the news report that came out, to people's overall reactions of if this will even have effect at all within the community, to people obviously memeing on this, and it's pretty funny. There is absolutely some funny memes that's been taking place here in the community today because of just the overall, the doomsday for leakers. But we also have, more stuff, background information of why these leakers would go as far as to do this. Is it clout reasons or is it something else? And then we also got, accounts that are leakers, like One Piece scans and other accounts closing down their Twitter or social media accounts and closing off their Discord because they are obviously in a lot of trouble and they're trying to do damage control and hide themselves, kind of lay low for a while, because it is definitely something that is pretty scary, especially when you see really well-known leakers within the community pretty much getting arrested. It's just like, oh crap, they might come after me next. So, anyways, let's talk about this. What's fully going on here? Why is Japan cracking down so hard? And what really is the answer to all this? And is leaks truly dead? Well, I'm gonna just, spoiler alert, leaks are not going to die. They're not. I mean, the only thing that this is really going to do, honestly, is exactly what's said here, is that it's going to delay leaks for manga chapters like JJK, One Piece, My Hero, for about a day or two. That's exactly what's going to happen. It's going to have it to where, we're going to go back to maybe getting leaks on Wednesday or Thursday, and that's about it, instead of getting them on like a Monday or Tuesday night. Now, what I'm trying to say is that Japan inherently is never going to get rid of piracy and leaks. It's not going to happen. The only way to truly combat that is to completely go fully online, digital. And that is one of the things I think that Japan really struggles with because of just their long audience and readers within their country that picks up the Shonen Jump magazine every single week physically to read it at a bookstore. So it's not something that they can necessarily navigate away from just because it is just within their culture. But more about that in a second. But the point of the matter is that leaks overall, no, they're not dead. All I'm saying is that there will always be piracy to some form of degree, and this has happened time and time again. You can go back throughout the years of anime and manga, and you'll constantly find stories just like this, to where you have foreigners or people within Japan that are arrested, thrown away, and you never hear from them ever again. This is a common story that happens, but it's very clear in recent years, Japan has been getting a little bit more serious, especially just putting a most wanted list, so to speak, on display for people to see. It's clearly a fear tactic as well. They're basically saying, yeah, we know who you are, we know what you're doing, we know kind of how you guys are deleting your post very early, which, they even talk about within this article, which is just honestly kind of wild, which that's something I want to kind of dive into first. Basically, they talk about how there is people within the leaker community that leaks stuff. They will post a manga panel, let's say of JJK, or they'll post something of One Piece, etc. And they'll post this panel, and then after 2 hours, they'll delete the post and you can't find it anymore. And the reason for that is because they're covering their tracks for their account doesn't get terminated, they don't get in any trouble, etc. It's like they're, skirting around copyright law for Japan, which is pretty smart, honestly. Pretty smart to do. But anyways, the point is you mess with a large company enough, they're going to be very upset. And they're going to find other ways to get to you. And people are starting to find out that's exactly what's going on here. It's only a matter of time until these companies do even more drastic measures to really make sure they're able to grab people. But anyways, what I'm trying to get at is that, it's clear that Japan is even aware of tactics online of people deleting posts to be able to get away with certain things. So seeing, stuff like this is like, yeah, they're clearly trying to say, we know what you're doing. We know what you guys are doing to get away with this, and we have your names. That's basically what they're showing here. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense why most leakers today are pretty much just completely MIA, or they're shutting down their accounts, because yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense when you see this type of stuff now, especially when you see, like, Japan really being serious about this. Now, anyways, getting into the actual way this can be fixed, the only way this theoretically could never happen again, for instance, leak culture and all that, could just disappear, is if Japan goes fully digital. And how would that fix it? Well, as I already briefly said in the video, Japan, they have a physical magazine that they deliver to stores. And obviously, there's a lot of stores within Japan that might not necessarily be as, morally obligated to release it on the exact date that it should release. Some companies could get a money under the table, so to speak, from different people, and they decide to say, sure, here you go, here's a magazine out of 20,000 in this box, nobody's gonna notice, here you go. And then the person that gets the magazine, obviously for an upcharge of money, the person at the company is getting paid a lot, because let's say a magazine is like $10, okay? And they, want to get this magazine early in Japan, they might pay $50. So the person selling the magazine to the person to leak it online is getting like a $40 increase of profit. And then the person that has the leaked magazine can turn around and put this on their sites or stuff. Like, for instance, One Piece Scans that obviously closed down today, they could put it on their site and run ads beside it because people are going to read it. Let's be honest. If, there is a chapter that is out early, let's say on a Monday or Tuesday when you have to wait another 5 days for an official, people are going to read the pirated version. It's the truth. That's just what people are going to do. It's 100%. And so it's lucrative for these leakers to put this on a site and run ads beside them because they're about to make a lot of money. It's a lot of money to make. And it's pretty much a good money-making scheme for them. So they do this. This is what drives them to really do that. And so what probably starts off, in which this post here actually kind of talks about that, what starts off as probably a passion project for fans that love the magazine and want to spread awareness of it, eventually turns into money-making for ad revenue and other means because it's a very lucrative business. So when you look at all of this and all that, the only way to really shut something like that down is by just going full digital, because always for decades now, when it comes to Japan and its issues with copyright and leaks, it's been because of the physical release. It's been because people get the magazine early from different companies, and that's about it. So if Japan was to go fully digital, only post their chapters online, the only way theoretically those chapters could be leaked is if there is a data breach within their actual servers. And if that is the case, they could easily just upgrade their security. I mean, nothing's perfect, but they would at least be able to have more control. They would not be able to have to worry about these other companies that house their magazine in their stores. Now, why has Japan not done this, which it seems so clearly obvious to actually do? Why would they not take the option of releasing digital? As I said before, Japan has an audience that loves to pick up a physical magazine. Every single week when it comes out, like on a Monday or Tuesday in Japan, people go to their stores, their local store, they grab a Shonen Jump magazine, they read it and all that, they buy it, they take it home. And that's happened a lot. I mean, I know a lot of people that probably watch anime or read manga have probably seen like an iconic manga panel or an anime scene where you have a character go within a, let's say, a convenience store, and they pick up a magazine from, the shelf. And that's basically like a Shonen Jump volume. That's the culture within Japan. So it's not something that they could easily just do away with, because they would lose a lot of money. So yeah, it's like they're damned if they do, they're damned if they don't. And Japan is obviously, I think, slowly being forced into the digital era because of everything that's going on here. But back on to the original topic at hand, for instance, like leakers and, kind of just being arrested and all that. I mean, is this going to do much? for a few weeks, I say there is going to be a little bit more less leaks as early as there were, but give it 2 months, it'll be back to how it was. Is that a good thing, bad thing? It's not my place to say. All I'm saying is that leaks will continue to happen as long as physical release is still a thing within Japan. But yeah, wild, honestly. Absolutely wild day for leak culture. A lot of people think it's doomsday and all that, but just kind of wanted to talk about it. It's pretty interesting, honestly, because Japan really is trying to put the fear of God into them, so to speak, with something like this. But yeah, you all have a fantastic day or night wherever you live. Be safe, stay healthy. Chibi out.